Hello, good morning everybody. Today in business law, we would be discussing few aspects related to proposal. That is in module number 1. This is video number 5. Okay. In this we will discuss few basic things related to proposal. Now many a times you all use this word proposal and all, but in terms of legality it differs a lot. So therefore here the meaning of proposal, then the various aspects of proposal, what are the legal things we should consider while saying a proposal, or when we say proposal there are some legal things which we need to understand or we need to know. If we fail to know these things, it would be like it is a waste, wherein we cannot consider it as a legal proposal. So therefore, with the intention to make aware about the proposal, here in your syllabus we have the basic thing about proposal. Okay. Now let us move on about proposal. Now here in proposal, the first thing, according to Indian Contract Act, we need to know the meaning of proposal. While understanding the meaning of proposal, we need to see when one person signifies to another, means when one person is signifying or telling to another person about his willingness to do or abstain from doing anything. His willingness to do something or abstaining means stopping it from doing or happening it, with a view to obtain the assent of that to such act or abstains, he is said to make a proposal. According to Indian Contract Act, section 2A, we say that when one person signifies his willingness to do something or to do something and getting some reward in back, we may call it as a proposal. But whereas nowadays you people call proposal or propose something in different way. Here this proposal is something different, and your general proposals, what you say for all those things, it is separate matter. Now when we say proposal, I would like to quote an example here. Suppose one person, Mr. A, is willing to sell his house to Mr. B at 10 lakh rupees. Okay. So here Mr. A has communicated to Mr. B that I am ready to sell my house for 10 lakh rupees. Means what? Mr. A is proposing to Mr. B that he is willing to sell his house for 10 lakh rupees. So in legal terms we call it as proposal. Similarly, in your job and other things, we say that we have a proposal of job. At that point of time, if you accept and join the job, you are accepting that proposal. Likewise, here according to Indian Contract Act section 2A, when a person signifies to another his willingness to do or abstain from doing anything with a view to obtaining the assent of that other to such act or abstinence, he is said to make a proposal. Now when we can call a proposal as a legal, or when we call this proposal as a valid proposal, for that we have certain set of points to know. When we know these points or set of points, then only we can call it as a proposal. Then only it is a valid proposal. Now here we will move on to rules of a valid proposal or offer. Even we call it as an offer also. Suppose I am offering my house to sell somebody, means what? I am offering it. Likewise here proposal and offer, we need to see certain set of rules and regulations which make the proposal or offer a valid offer. We cannot call all the offers as a valid offer. Suppose if I offer some X to kill Mr. B, will it be a valid offer? It cannot be a valid offer, because there are certain set of rules and regulations for any offer. Therefore, we need to understand what are the rules of a valid proposal or offer. That We will see now. The first point of validity of a proposal or offer is an offer must be intended to create or capable of creating legal relationship. When there is a legal relationship, then only we call this offer as a valid offer. Suppose if I am nowadays you are reading in newspaper that there are the drug cases, the ganja cases and all. So if I am in contract with Mr. B for supplying some drugs or some unwanted things, at that point of time this cannot be a legal relationship. Therefore, an offer must be intended to create or capable of creating some legal relationship in between both the parties. When there is some legal relationship in between both the parties, at that point of time only we can call this as a valid offer, or else it is not a valid offer. Therefore, whatever relationship we are entering or we are giving the proposal, at that point of time it should be a legal relationship. Suppose if I am entering into contract or I am offering somebody to kill somebody else, at that point of time it is illegal, therefore it cannot bring or it cannot be a legal relationship among them. Okay, so this is first point. Second point, it may be expressed or implied. Expressed or implied means, suppose I am expressing my offer. I am telling that I want to sell my car for 4 lakh rupees to somebody, X or Y person. So here I am offering my offer or proposal, so it is expressed. Okay. In certain cases there are implied offers also. For example, if I am entering in a hotel and the hotel person has kept a menu and I am ordering that menu. Okay, suppose I am ordering one puri bhaji. At that point of time, it is implied that when I am ordering, I am supposed to pay money. So there are certain things which are implied. We understand that we are supposed to pay. Another example for this is when we are entering into KSRTC bus. At that point of time, we are accepting, or it is implied that I have to pay or I need to have a bus pass, then only it is a valid. Likewise, here it may be expressed or implied. Implied means it is already followed. So when I am entering into bus, that it means that I am supposed to pay for ticket. Likewise, an offer or proposal must be either expressed or implied. Then only we can call it as a valid proposal or offer. We'll move ahead. The third point is it must contemplate. Contemplate means chintan, to give rise to legal relationship. When we are proposing something or giving or offering something, at that point of time the chintan process, उसका चिंतन होना चाहिए, तब जाकर वो पूरा हो जाता है. Likewise here, when there is an offer, it must give rise to a legal relationship. So in that view, there should be discussion in between both the parties for giving or for bringing the legal relationship among the parties. So that is the third point of valid proposal or offer. Next point is terms must be certain. The various terms and conditions when one offer is brought, at that point of time all the box or all the certain set of rules, regulations, do's, don'ts, all the things must be mentioned or the terms must be clear. For example, if I am entering into contract with somebody else to construct my house, at that point of time in the construction agreement it should be clear that what quality of bricks I am using, what quality of cement I am using, how much thickness of concrete will be there, or how much weight or how much tension bars I am using. So all these things, terms must be clear. Then only that contract or that proposal or that offer will be, we call it as clear offer or certain offer. So therefore, when we are offering something or when we are proposing something, at that point of time the terms and conditions for that proposal must be very much certain, very much clear. Then only there will be a good legal relationship, or else there will be mess up and there will be quarrel among both the parties. So therefore, when we are entering into any contract, or when we are offering, or when we are accepting some offer, at that point of time the terms and conditions or the terms must be certain. Then only we can call it as a valid proposal. Next thing is, it may be specific or general. It may be specific means there are certain offers which are specific and which are general. Now suppose if I am telling to Mr. A and Mr. B that I want to sell my house at 10 lakh rupees. So it is specific, this offer or this proposal is specific to these two people. When I give an ad in newspaper saying that I want to sell my house at this rate and my house is located at this point or this area. So at this point of time, this kind of offer or this kind of proposal is a general proposal or general offer. Therefore, the offer or proposal will be specific or general. There will be certain offers which are specified, which have a specific terms, or which we have for a specific set of people, and there are certain set of offers or proposals which are general in nature. Therefore, we need to be clear sometimes, and some general offers will be there. Then only we can call it as a valid proposal or offer. After that, we have invitation and offer. There should be an invitation. For example, when one ad is shown, it means that they are inviting the customers. Okay, they are inviting. For example, if one hotel is giving ad that we have IPL favor arrangements in our restaurant or our hotel. So at that point of time, they are inviting the customers. They are communicating it and they are inviting the customers and offering the customers that along with food and beverage, we are offering you the IPL watch party also, or etc. etc. Likewise, there should be an invitation in the offer, or there should be an offer. Okay, then only we can call it as a valid offer or proposal. Means without invitation the offer cannot be clear. For example, I am offering or I am inviting, I want to sell my house and I am inviting the purchasers through an ad in newspaper or through a banner at the site. So I am inviting the people to come see my land and purchase it. Likewise, there should be an invitation and offer. After that, we have another point. An offer must be communicated to the offering. Means the offer must be communicated to the offering. I am offerer. Suppose I am offering, I am an offerer, and the offeree is person to whom I am offering my services. One example we will see here. Suppose I want to give my two-wheeler to Manjunath Babu for 10,000 rupees. So at that point of time, this idea is there in my mind, but I have not communicated it to Manjunath Babu. So at that point of time, this cannot be a valid offer or proposal, because the offer is not being communicated to the offering. Therefore, we cannot call it as a valid offer. So, according to the Indian Contract Act, the offer must be communicated to the offering. Okay, or else the proposal or offer may not be a valid. So, therefore, whatever offer is there, we need to communicate it to the offering. The next point is, terms must be definite and unambiguous. Many a times it happens that in some recharges or some offers, they give details, and in small writings they write, a small star mark would be there, and they write terms and conditions applied. So it means it is ambiguous. We have no clear idea about it. So therefore, a proposal or offer must be definite. Whatever terms and conditions are there, everything must be specified. If it is not specified, it cannot be a valid proposal or offer. Therefore, a proposal or offer must be definite, clear, certain and unambiguous. The terms, the conditions, everything must be clear. Then only we can call this offer or proposal as a valid offer or proposal, else it is not. So therefore the terms must be definite, the terms must be clear, the terms must be unambiguous. Then only we can call it as a valid offer or proposal. Now next thing we need to see is invitation to offer is not an offer. When I am inviting somebody to purchase my land, it is not a complete offer, because the opposite party also should be ready to accept the terms and conditions at what I am ready to sell my land. If they are not ready, or if the mere invitation cannot be an offer. Okay, if I invite somebody else to see my land and I am not offering for sale, then it cannot be an offer or proposal. So therefore a simple invitation cannot be a offer. One more example we can see. Suppose Mr. X has invited me to his house for lunch, and I am going there to his house, and unfortunately he didn't provide lunch. At that point of time I cannot go to a court saying that he had invited me for lunch and he is not providing that lunch. So therefore a simple invitation cannot be an offer. Okay. The next is, last point of valid offer or proposal is, the special terms must be communicated in a special manner. Now whatever the special terms and conditions are there, at that point of time these special terms and conditions must be specifically communicated to the offeree. If they are not communicated, then there is an ambiguity between both the parties. So therefore it cannot be an valid offer. So here, if we want to make a valid offer, the terms must be clear, they must be specified, they must be communicated to the offeree, then only we can call it as a valid offer. So therefore when we want to have a clear offer or valid offer or proposal, we need to have these points. That is, number one, an offer must be intended to create or capable of creating legal relationship. Then second, it may be expressed or implied. Third, it must contemplate to give rise to legal relationship. Fourth, terms must be certain. Fifth, it may be specified or general. Sixth, invitation and offer. Then seventh, an offer must be communicated to the offeree. Eighth, terms must be definite and unambiguous. Ninth, invitation to offer is not an offer. Then 10th, special terms must be communicated in a special manner. So in this class we will stop here. Rest things we shall see in next class. If you have any doubts or questions, you are always welcome to contact me through call or message or whatever it is. Thank you. Good day.